Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the... practice log. Man, that sucked. It's been a while since I had one of these. I haven't had a sip of alcohol in 6 months. I'm about to relapse. Watch this. I'm just kidding. I've been drinking regularly. Just not on camera as much. I don't know. But I mean, nothing's changed. Like, I still want that Sierra Nevada sponsorship. Maybe I gotta start showing the brand a little more. Right? I haven't been drinking beer so much these days. As you guys might know, I have a girlfriend. I know. Settle down, fellas. I do have a girlfriend. So it ends up being like, if we do drink, I'll get like a bottle of wine or something. And you can't just have like a beer and a glass of wine with that. That's just obnoxious. So tonight, I'm alone. I just got done teaching. I'm gonna practice after this. I have a lot of freaking practice I want to get into. I mean, you guys already know. Sore Mozart variations, just perfecting it. I've reworked a lot of stuff in it. I think like musically, it's coming along a lot better. It's funny how just like a few lessons, it really opens up your eyes to just being musical. Is there any more small talk that we want to do? Beer is bad for you. Remember that. That's like the comforting thing about being a guitar loser. If you ever get a little too ambitious, you can just remember like, hey, I can just have a beer and just chill out. Like, it's fine. Nobody's gonna notice. You can not show up one day. It's fine. Show up to your practice still, of course, but like nobody's expecting perfection from you. You're a guitar loser. So enjoy it. Not everybody is so lucky. Anywho, there was an interesting comment because I was talking a lot in that Jacob Collier video about like how I think open tunings are a horrible place to start. I would never personally start a student with open tunings just so they can start playing guitar, because I think that is inherently, like, I hate to throw this term around, but it's a little indulgent, you know? It's like, what, you want to be able to play things that sound good so bad that we're going to like warp the foundations of the instrument just around your non-ability? No, sorry, I don't mean to get aggressive here. I'm just saying, it's silly. Like, that kind of thinking, like, it makes sense for being creative and stuff. Honing your abilities on an instrument is not necessarily a creative endeavor. Like, it is a technical one. You're trying to get better at your craft. I don't know what painters do, but it's not like we're just painting for the sake of painting. Like, we're working on our strokes. We're getting that, getting straight lines. Is that what they do? I don't know. We're not trying to be creative right now. We are working so that when we are being creative, we have the technical facilities to actually express everything we want to express. We're just giving ourselves tools. Not everything needs to be about just expressing yourself, and like that's all it's ever about. Like, there's also periods of like learning. It sounds like I'm a freaking stickler, annoying teacher, but I'm just saying in the context of like learning, we can sort of separate like learning and creating, and they help each other eventually, but they should be separated for the most part. Like, there are exceptions, obviously, none of which that I'm going to name, so there you go. Let's get into this comment question that is related to that, because I disagreed with Jacob and the other fellow that he was with, saying like, oh, wouldn't it be great to start in like open D? And I'm just saying, no, it wouldn't be great to start in open D, because you wouldn't learn anything, except for maybe how to tune in open D. But this one is from YubTub Time. Uh-oh, it's YubTub Time. Woo! Let's get into your Kizity comment. The idea, explicit or implicit, as it seems to be here, that you can learn the wrong way, in quotations. God, dude, this is a great opening. Did ChatGPT write this? Wouldn't that be sad? Just all of you are just ChatGPT. Nah, I'm AI. Or that how you choose to start learning guitar really even has any long-term impact on your trajectory as a player is mere fear-mongering for the benefit of instructors and tutors. Let's actually break that down. The argument that you're making is that you think that I'm saying that learning with open tunings, or not learning like the traditional way, which I guess we can just call like classical training, like I'm just teaching you classical guitar, or anybody teaching you classical guitar, it's not me specifically, that it's going to like mess up your trajectory going forward and you're not going to get as far as you could have otherwise had you not learned like open tunings and just like having fun first. So that is what you're arguing against right now, which I never really said anything quite like that, but I understand how you like got that from what I was saying. So I'll give you this for now, and I'm not gonna like harp on me not ever saying that, because I don't think that I did, and I'll explain further in a bit. Let me read more. I started playing as a teenager, same, using only chromatics and my thumb. Chromatics? Like just playing notes like next to each other? On a children's guitar with only 4 rusty strings. I never took lessons. Yeah, dude, I assume not. If you showed up to one of my lessons of that thing, come on now. It's like, why don't you use the money that you're paying me and go buy a guitar? Or some strings for that matter. I never took lessons. I only studied scale shapes, but never drilled them. When I finally started playing chords, I never barred and used thumb over for years. Hey, well, you know what? you have a great intuition because you started playing scales before chords. I've literally seen this because I've known like non-classical, non-jazz guitar teachers, like when I taught in music stores before. People, I'm not even gonna grab my guitar, it doesn't matter, but they would literally teach like an open G major chord day one. That's like week 10. What are you talking about? Day one is just playing the open E string, E, F, G, or just playing like a nursery rhyme on the first string, like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, 0077997. Leave a comment if you've had a first lesson with me and I made you do that. And guess what? At the end of that lesson, you were able to play it. Because the first lesson shouldn't be hard. You should come out of it being able to actually play something. Not come out of it frustrated and be like, alright, I gotta work on like playing this open G major chord for the rest of the week. Get a little like arthritis going on, just trying to make it happen. Makes no sense. So when I studied classical guitar at Jacobs School of Music years later, I must have been at a huge disadvantage, right? I must have been really struggling with basic wrist posture and maybe even arpeggios, right? I must have even struggled with socially accepting feedback from an instructor, right? Not at all. The 3 best students in my class were all self-taught, had zero difficulty adapting to a correct posture. I mean, this is all like, alright, like, who are these students? They just had zero difficulty with anything, they're all self-taught, and they just like adapted, alright, great. And had a far better grasp of the guitar's overall musical vocabulary. There's something to that, for sure. Maybe you aren't trying to project this tired old sentiment about learning, but it feels very implicit in your messaging and tone. So, there is nothing wrong with self-taught learning on the guitar, and in fact it does feed your creativity a lot. And I am an improviser on the guitar. I make jokes like in the Jacob Collier video, but I've spent just countless hours like improvising, just using scales and arpeggios. I have like compositions. I've never released any of them, but I've definitely written stuff. And if I only learned classical guitar, just learning pieces and never actually explored any of those avenues of like improv, I would be much less fluent on the guitar. I would probably be better at like sight reading or reading music. My technical abilities on the guitar are pretty good, like, and a lot of it came from like working on improv and stuff. I agree, when it comes to like learning the musical capabilities of the instrument, nothing beats like just experimenting and doing stuff like that. Imagine how much of a tragedy it would be if you spent all that time for being a kid all the way up to 18 going into the university paying a guitar teacher, and for them only to start you off with the stuff that you figured out on your own, like open tunings and like scale stuff, no classical training, just starting you with stuff that you literally said that you figured out on your own and had no effect on your abilities to learn later. Sure, but it's like he could have just taught you the stuff that you would have been learning in the first place. And that's why I specifically said I would never start a student on these like tunings that make it easier to like improvise and noodle, because you can just do that on your own. I feel like people lose sight in this. You can take lessons from somebody and work on the stuff that they give you, and then you can also do your own thing on the side. And the thing that upsets me the most if a student does this is if they hire me and then I give them stuff that they could only receive from instruction, and then they ignore it and only work on the stuff that they're just doing on their own anyways. Because then it's like, what's the point of hiring me? Why are we doing this? You could just be doing this on your own. Is it just fun to ignore someone? I get that. I get why that might be fun, but like, it's upsetting. There's time in the day to do both. And if you weren't self-taught, it would be really annoying if your teacher only gave you stuff that you could have just learned as a self-taught guitarist. And you're right, it's not going to affect like how well you learn stuff in the future. I went to school not as a self-taught guitarist, but when it comes to the classical world, I was uneducated entirely. No, and despite that, like when I started playing classical, like once I went to university, I took to it really fast because I just started practicing it. Your arpeggios only stay bad for so long if you're practicing arpeggios for like hours a day. For like how many years can you do that before they start getting good, right? Especially if you already play guitar. Now, would my arpeggios be better if I had a classical teacher when I was 9 and we practiced those all the way up until I was 18? You can say like, oh, like we adapted fine, but it's like we could have been so much better at this point. I'm 26. I'm not like at a professional level yet. I could have been had I been in lessons when I was 9 learning like classical guitar, but I wasn't. And that's my life, and I'm very happy going through my life chasing this goal that I do believe that I will achieve, but it's gonna take a lifetime. Like, so what's it worth, you know? Like, at least I have that proof to myself that I know that it's worth that. Because maybe if I achieved this when I was like 18 or 20 or whatever, maybe I would feel like kind of upset by that, because then it's like, what am I doing now? You know? So, you know, there's always two sides to it. My point that I was making is that I would never start a student on this, because they're paying me to give them classical instruction, and it would be a waste of their money for me to give them anything that isn't that, because they can learn that stuff on their own. You can figure out guitar on your own. It's the same analogy I've made with like when you're writing an essay in English class and you're like, oh, like I have all these parameters that I have to stick to. They're killing my creativity. School's killing my creativity. And it's like, you know what? You can write another essay that doesn't have parameters, and you can just post it online or whatever, like publish it there. Nobody's gonna grade you for that. You can just do it again. But the first essay that has the parameters is giving you just a foundation and like a technically good essay. Now you hold that with you, and you can choose to use that, or you can not use that, and it's fine. So I think I've made enough of a point here. I agree with you, ultimately. You can be self-taught for like 10 years and just noodle and learn nothing. And then if you're actually given a real instructor who's going to teach you, you'll probably not really have many issues, like if they're a good instructor and they're like patient with you. You also only remember it from your reference. You don't know what the teacher was thinking when they saw you. Like maybe they found you and they're like, oh my god, like what am I going to do with this guy? So you never know. Like I'm sure my teacher felt the same way when he saw me. Of course, if you have any comments about anything, feel free to leave them. If the original commenter is here and listening, hey, sorry if I got like a little rough in there. You know, I don't mean it. I just get excited. It was a great comment. You made a lot of great points that got me excited to talk about. All right, let's get to practicing. I'll see you in the chair. I think what I'm going to play for you is probably what I have of BWV 997, the Fugue, so far. I haven't made that much progress. I've been working a lot on the Sohr Mozart variations and new easy Baroque piece that Brandon gave me. Yeah, so I'm going to work on that for a bit, and then that's probably going to be what you hear today. I'll see you on the other side. And this is, yeah, and so you get the idea. So that was the first page, and I think I got most of the notes in there. A couple were missing, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep working on that. I typically never play it that fast, but I'm just performing what I have for you. And you know, keep in mind, this is a practice log, so if you mention that like my rhythm or timing is off, it's like, yeah, I don't know the notes that well yet. It's a freaking practice log, guys. Chill out. That's coming along well. I've been kind of putting this one on the back burner for a little bit, but now I think I'm going to commit like 30 to 45 minutes a day to just like pressing forward through it until we at least can read through the whole thing. Just because it's time. I want to get a new fugue under my belt, so this is the one. And then I'll probably start working on the prelude alongside that, you know, just because it's a nice one. Will we learn the rest of it? I don't know. But this is just a big like project piece. So it's this, the Sohr Mozart variations. I'm putting a lot of time into that. Then there's that new Baroque piece that Brandon is having me learn. It's like easy though. I can play through the whole thing. I don't have it quite memorized yet. Alright, so we can put the guitar away for now. Let's freaking talk for a little bit. Man, the state of the YouTube channel, it's been pretty interesting, huh? Like, I know if you're watching this video, you're probably like an actual fan and you're not just Jacob Coyer, hater/lover, and just coming to see what I have to say. Chances are, if you made it through that, you probably like me. So yeah, let's just go through some of the growth that we've experienced. March 25th, I gained 6 subscribers, which is like kind of typical. That's like every day that goes by, I typically gain like that much at least. The days before that, it was 28 and 32. Like that's a lot of subscribers per day. Like getting 28 to 32 subscribers as a normal thing every day. If you told me that when I first started this thing, when it took like days just to get 1 subscriber, I would be like, That is insane. 30 people a day on average. But it's literally that, because, or even more actually, because on average every month they gain like 500 subscribers. But yeah, just to give you an idea of how insane these last few days have been. February 25th, 6. February 26th, 193. Whoa, alright. That's like half a month's worth almost, just in a day. The next day, 206. What? That's freaking nuts. 193 was like a record at the time, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna see another 193 day in a row. Lo and behold, 206 is next. And then the next day, 289. Like, whoa, oh my god, dude. And then the next day, March 1st, 345. It just keeps going up. Oh my god, even today so far, it's only 2 p.m. right now. I've already gained 180. This week, I'm just gonna go up, like, what, like 2,000 subscribers? like, that's crazy. It took so long to get my first 1,000. It took like 6 months of grinding, and now I'm just getting like 2 of those basically in the span of like 6 days. Yeah, like I'm literally like refreshing, and it just goes up by 1 like as I refresh. It's like seeing that is so nuts. It's nutty seeing that. Like, it almost reminds me, you ever play those games? I remember one of them was like Adventure or Venture Capitalist, where it's just like a clicker game where you just like click and it gives you like points, like money, whatever the points are, and you just get to a point with it where it's just like exponential and you're just seeing the number go up, and it's insane. The YouTube app is literally like that game for me, except instead of points, it's like actual real people on the planet, like me. So like my points are like human souls. Is what it feels like. It's a weird kind of game, which, keep in mind, you might be hearing this and like it sounds like kind of douchey. Like, I know you guys have seen like the ride from the beginning, like a lot of you have seen that, and it's been a grind. I was doing the math on it because I have like 450 videos or something, and on average it takes like 5 hours to film and like edit one video, average slash like the low end of average. Doing the math over the like 16 or whatever months I've been doing this, it comes out to like 30 hours a week of just work for like almost a year and a half, and now stuff's just starting to get a little crazy. Like, it's actually working out, and like working out for a lot of reasons. Like that video is like generated income. Maybe right now it's at 40,000 views. If it gets past 50,000, I'll make a video saying exactly how much money I made from it. Spoiler alert, it's not like a huge amount, but it's something. It's like a nice amount, and especially me usually doing this work for free, and I'm just kind of used to that. It's nice to get a little bit of money for it. That, and then like other stuff just working out, like a lot of new like student inquiry emails, like, you know who you are, hey, thanks for reaching out. You can literally still do that, and I charge $60 an hour, which I'm starting to realize now is like pretty low, because keep in mind, like when I first started teaching, I was charging like $50 an hour, and then the platform I was using was also taking a substantial cut, so I was used to really making like 35 an hour for teaching. So like when I charge 60 and I get the whole thing now, that feels like reasonable to me. But it seems like people charge a lot more than that. I'm gonna hold it where it is for now, but I plan on raising it at some point. I'll probably raise it to 75. In that case, everybody who has had me before, the people who found me like basically in the beginning, like before the first 5,000 subs, you can just keep the $60 price forever. But after that, like, it's gonna have to raise, because it's I don't want to teach an unmanageable amount of students, and I also don't want to say no to any students. Like, if somebody wants lessons with me, I want to give it to them. I think 75 sounds like a good number. It's not raising yet, so you know, if you want to lock in, so you can go ahead and send me an email, we can get started. But if you want to do that and you wait, you know, price is gonna rise soon, so don't sleep on it. Look at me, just like employing propaganda at you. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you don't find the Jacob Coyer videos like too annoying. You know, that video I was watching, I only watched a fourth of it, so I really have 3 more videos I can make from that. And I'm definitely going to do it, because like, it's lucrative. Like, it just is. Just understand that, like, I'm doing it because it's nice to finally sell out a little bit and like actually make a little bit of coin from this thing, because it's been a lot of sacrifice. But all of the like frequent commenters, friends of the channel, you guys know who you are. I always see you, and I always appreciate you the most, because there are people clicking on for Jacob Coyer, and if you are and you want to be a friend of the channel, I think it just means that you're a regular watcher who's like watching for the classical guitar stuff, then yeah, you will be. So, you know, the practice logs, they will never stop, because that's really where my interests lie. I want to get better at the classical guitar, and I want to document that journey. But, you know, it's fun to make a show out of it too. And I also, I just need to say thank you to Jacob Coyer. You really are the #1 friend of the channel. You've given me so much, man. Yeah, there's some comments saying, like, oh, you're just hating, like, you hate Jacob. Oh, there's no part of me that hates Jacob. I love Jacob. Jacob's the best. He's done so much for me. Alright, I think that's enough rambling. Let's go ahead and make our way to the outro. I'll see you there. Hey, well, you know, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe, leave a like. Yeah, because I haven't got enough subscriptions yet. Give me more, right? It's fun. It's fun. I hope that there's some sort of, like, enjoyment that you get out of seeing that, like, especially those who have really been watching for a while. It's fun to watch the number go up. And, pick up some merch from Rootin's Delight, of course. Reach out if you want some guitar lessons. Classical guitar, please. I'm not gonna teach you how to tap. I'm not gonna teach you jazz like Jacob. I'm gonna teach you classical like Cameron. Alright. Well, you know, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.